Film Diet Podcast.
And it was just sequel after sequel after sequel.
There was no character development at all.
Just that on pure technical levels.
There are filmmakers that don't want it just to be an entertainment experience.
Hello and welcome to Media Academy Online's Film Diet Podcast.
And in these next few podcasts, we're going to be talking about franchises.
The good, the bad, and some ugly.
Some ugly. Ones that keep getting reused and milked.
Yeah.
And ones that died off and they're back again.
Yeah, well, I think it was kind of funny because coming up with this idea, I was like, film trilogies. Hang on. There's not many trilogies left.
No. There were a few and then they got remade.
Yeah, and there's like number 4s and 5s and 6s
Yeah.
and so on. So, yeah, anyway, we're going to start off with the prehistoric...
Jurassic Park.
Welcome to Jurassic Park. Spare no expense. See, that's before we say anything, I think the music from Jurassic Park would be one of those ones that goes down in film history as very memorable.
Very memorable.
We can all hum it and sing it.
You hear that straight away. It's on par with Harry Potter and their theme.
Coincidentally, John Williams.
Yeah, he's good at his...
well, he
writing
was
those
good.
things. Yeah.
He was the best. And no one will ever beat him.
It felt like there was a lot of films that used to come out that would make sure they had those beautiful themes that just... You'd hear it straight away and you thought, this was it. Not so many films these days. They kind of just have forgettable scores. But
like Fantastic Beasts? Can you remember the score from that?
no. I remember they did leech off the original...
They're like, oh, we got a bit of Harry Potter in here.
And then it'll just blend off into something else.
Yeah, some dubstep stuff.
Yeah. There's
But
an
yeah, I
experience.
mean, I don't think that enough is said about John Williams because what? Quick little sidebar before we get into the thick of it. Think about all the scores he has done that is memorable. I think 90%, if not 99% of his scores have been memorable.
Very much
Indiana
so.
Jones, Star Wars, Jaws, E.T., Close Encounters. The list goes on and on and on. Jurassic Park, Harry Potter.
Well, what film has not used him? It feels like every...
I know, I'm trying to
Back in the day, he was doing all of them.
Terminator,
Yeah.
that's got a funny score. Alien, the Alien series, but they're not ones you can hum.
No.
I mean, Terminator you can a little bit, but it's not one that you typically would hum because it's not a very
No.
humming score. I don't know. It's sort of...
It was, it's one of the,
Yeah, it's a bit depressing.
it was like when all these 80s films came out and they were trying to be all grungy and stuff. Edgy. And all of the films had that very particular edgy, grungy noise to it. Stood out.
Whereas John Williams has had this whimsical, wondrous, orchestral strings just flying and,
Takes you on a journey.
Yeah, very magical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can still remember the very first time that I saw the first Jurassic Park.
You can?
Yeah.
So can I.
It's one of those things that, it's one of those, where was I when?
Yeah. Was that on the cinema? Did you see it at the cinemas?
No.
Because you're a couple of years younger than me, and I was very young, and I went to the cinemas to see it.
Yeah, I saw it on VHS.
Wow.
Good old 4:3 ratio going on there.
With that awesome cover, the black cover with the logo in the middle. Yeah.
We had that. We had that VHS for a very long time.
Yeah, I think we watched the shit out of our one.
Yeah. But it was just one of those ones that, even as a kid, I just had no idea how that was done. I had no idea how they made that.
Yeah.
And it's one of those ones that still to this day, a lot of visual effects can't compare to that.
It's not so much the kind of visual effects they've used, it's more how.
Yeah, it's the application of it.
Yeah.
It's the blending of real life, animatronics and the wider shot visual effects. It's the mix between the two.
Which is quite funny because we've spoken about this in a previous episode, and it's something we could almost mention in every episode.
Yeah.
Just on pure the filmmaking, for that film, I'll try and keep this short, but that film in general the application, as you were saying, the effects, the application of it, still to this day, that can be used as a template of how to do things the right way.
That's right. I think for many people, it comes down to actually putting in the time in pre-production to actually plan out your effects and actually go down the route of creating elements to be used on set rather than just saying, "Oh, we'll do it in post." Just imagine there was a big monster there.
On the stick with the tennis ball on it.
Yeah.
That's the T-Rex.
Yeah.
Look up there.
Or the guy running around with balls on his body.
Oh.
I'm a panda. Just think of me as a panda.
Yeah, I mean, so they built animatronics.
Yeah.
Like to scale. So the T-Rex, for example, or the raptors, or the whatever, the triceratops on the ground, or all of them. So you have like the life-size T-Rex standing right there, and the effects artist could then see how the lighting works on it, and then use that for the CGI. So they had a perfect reference for their CGI work.
You make the raw edit of the film and be able to give that scene to the visual effects artists, and they can have a look at the cuts between the shots. So it might cut to a close-up of the animatronic head, and then he can use that. Okay, so I see the position that he's in now. Cut to the shot that he will create in the computer, and being able to match it. But you've also got that real world, this is how it looks. And it's how it will look because it's the final shot that gets used, rather than having to create the whole thing on the computer and try and blend it in with the real world. Yeah. You've actually got the shot there.
Just genius. As we spoke about in the previous episode, just that pre-production of having the idea of doing claymation and then changing that because the CGI was coming up really quick, and they were like, okay, no, this is the way to go for it. And it's just, so you had Phil Tippett, who was the claymation guy, and he worked on like RoboCop, heaps of other stuff, but like his genius, his understanding of how things work in the 3D or in reality, and then being able to be a supervisor for the CGI artists and then sort of help in that department. Now I think he was the senior or one of the head guys in the effects department still, even though he came from claymation background, but because he has such a thorough understanding of animation and how things work and how to get things to work, you get this perfect blending of the two sides.
And it's an interesting point that you bring up there, because when they first made this film, they had all these animators hired for the job that were stop motion animators, and they only knew stop motion animation, right? And so to throw them on a computer and say, all right, animate, they weren't able to do that. So they actually made a maquette, and they were able to use that maquette, that figure, and pose that, and that will correspond to the 3D object in the computer. Just coming up with those ideas to do that. I think even to have that today would be very beneficial.
Yeah, absolutely. I don't know what has happened, because it's like that was the perfect example of how to go about it and make things make sense. And then for some reason we've sort of gone, no, we don't worry about any of that. We just do it all on the computer. Scrap all that extra work. And it seriously has not paid off for so many movies. It just feels, the effects seem light. They seem like there's no weight, and things are very floaty, and it's just shot composition and having an understanding of movement and the right shots.
Well, half the issue is that they don't have any reference. They might have some sort of fake reference, like as you said, a ball on a stick, but they've got no reference to 100% know how a shot will be framed. So that usually there's some sort of composite involved to reframe a shot or whatever to make the object fit into the scene. So there's a whole work on the post-production, which is just makes it even harder to be able to produce a film, where back then they were able to at least frame things right and have an idea of how where the objects will be in the location. As
usual, we've got like a lot of effects companies or movie makers have gotten too cocky with it.
They have.
And abused it, basically.
I like to think of it, they're almost like a teenager. They think their shit don't stink. And they're walking around like, look at the amazing shit we can do. But really, we're kind of getting a bit too complacent with it.
Yeah.
Where there's less and less directors actually putting in the time and effort to develop that technology. That's why it's nice to have directors like James Cameron, who, with Avatar, said, I'm going to rewrite what it means to be a visual effect, and pretty much developed a technology from scratch for creating realistic facial features or facial animation.
It's quite interesting because, like, James Cameron, I mean, he comes from effects background. He started off on Roger Corman stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if you know his little history there, but he did, you know, like, effects work on Roger Corman movies, which are really crappy D grade. This is where a lot of filmmakers come from, and they sort of in the States at that time, and they sort of cut their teeth doing these really shitty films, but they were allowed to go out there and do it.
Well, his first directing film, wasn't that like Piranha 2 or
Piranha
something?
2.
Yeah.
And I think he got fired off it in the end.
Yeah, he did.
I heard he did, yeah. And then he actually worked on Escape from New York. He did one of the effects in that on sort of wireframe model thing that they use in the computer, I think. You know, it's like the render of the city and stuff, and they're sort of showing the landscape, you know, in the computer. So I think he worked on that, but they actually used a model, and it became like a wireframe sort of thing. But anyway, so yeah, from that to Terminator was like 3 years in between.
Yeah.
So how quick he, from obscurity to
Yeah.
one of the biggest up and coming directors, and then, you know.
And the other thing is, he wasn't afraid to use any technology, whatever it was. It could have been whatever kind of technology to create a visual effect.
Yeah.
And he does a lot of practical stuff too. In the early days,
Absolutely.
he was doing lots of
All of
practical
it.
stuff.
Yeah.
And then, you know, he was able to jump on board when the computer generation came up, creating computer generated graphics.
Yeah, with the T-1000 and Abyss.
Yeah, Abyss. Yeah,
I think the Abyss was the first.
That was his first one. Played around with water, and then he thought, okay,
that looks perfect for a liquid metal, man.
Yeah.
You know. And it's just understanding the limitations and going, okay, you know, we can use this for this, and it's good. We'll just use it for that and not overdo it.
Yeah.
You know, and I like that. There was a level of maturity and understanding, and not getting carried away.
Yeah.
And that's what makes these films stand up to this day. Still to this day, it's amazing to think that we still reflect upon that era as we might be rose tinted, but I know most people do say that, like, that era of filmmaking is still stands up today. Is, you know,
well, jumping back to Jurassic Park, like you can still grab a screenshot of any of the shot, like grab any frame of that film and grab a screenshot, and it stands up today.
I think it looks better than Jurassic World.
Yeah,
like, you take screenshots from both. And just on the way the scenes are set up, you know, I just think Jurassic Park, the way that they shot the T-Rex and the dinosaurs and basically the threat, the way they frame the threat in the scene is always like from a purpose. The camera angles and the choices of cutting and all that sort of thing, it's always with purpose.
Yeah.
These days, it's almost showboating. You know, it's overly showboating.
And the other thing is, we always talk about the visual effects in Jurassic Park, but I think we need to equally appreciate the fact that the dinosaurs were 3D, but everything else wasn't. When we look at Jurassic World, they're fucking doing everything in 3D. When, you know, when you're looking at the sets, that's the actual set that was there in Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
They didn't have to put in, you know,
extend the background.
Just decide to make a big.
We need a bigger.
Really, we get lazy with sets.
We've built a room or half a room.
And then the rest is green, and we'll put in the rest later. Like, if you look at the behind the scenes of Jurassic World or something, there isn't really that much there. There's a couple of things, and then the rest is green. When what you see in Jurassic Park, that was actually there.
It's all legit.
Other than the dinosaurs, that was really there.
And they had real versions of the dinosaurs too. So it's almost like everything was real, to be honest. It's almost like ever since the Star Wars prequels came out, and they went as far as you could with saying, okay, we're just going to CGI everything, and the actors the main actors won't be CGI. Yeah, I think that was kind of that's right at the forefront, or right at the sort of the top of the list of cringeworthy thing, like, effects work to look back on and just go way too far. Like, it's insane. But yeah, I mean, it's just having an understanding of the application of effects and where and how, you know, like the limitations of it.
When it should be used, if it should be used.
Yeah.
And having a good mix of the two, and not being afraid to actually build a set and actually film on location. When these days there's a lot of not filming on location because they don't have to.
Do you think that it's cheaper to pay underpaid effects CGI artists and outsource all that instead of just building, hiring the set makers and decorators and all those different teams and different departments, right? You get all these different people, you have to pay them, and then instead of just going, we'll just hire this effects company and pay them fuck all.
Well, that's the thing. It's easier. It's always going to be easier and cheaper once you've created a scene in the computer. Once you've made that, it's made for good.
So do you think the brain immediately has this switch in it where when we see something like that, especially people like us or anyone that has, an appreciation for film, do you think that there's that switch in their head that immediately says unreal or... what's the word?
I think we can tell that there is something in our minds that says
we're questioning it as
we're
watching it.
We know it's when we know it's not real. We our brain can kind of switch off a bit. When something's real, you can see there was 50 painters on something or 50 construction men building a huge set.
Yeah.
And that involves all of the different people building it. People like us will probably appreciate that more than a lot of the general public will.
Yeah.
So us being these film snobs just sitting there saying, "Oh no,
snoob."
Because I mean, when I'm making films, I'm using technology as much as I can. So I'm not going to hate on technology.
No.
But I also think there's room for both. There's a middle ground there. When it's real and it's real, it feels more like a whole world.
Yeah. Yeah. It almost seems like they don't have to oversell it to you.
Yeah.
It sells itself, basically.
Yeah.
It's almost like the film industry shooting itself in the foot, because it's like, shouldn't they want to push different departments? Shouldn't they want to make the film industry last?
Yeah, local jobs created.
Why wouldn't they want to push for that? I mean, why are we pushing for more CGI over giving people jobs?
Well, I guess it probably just comes down to the fact that it costs more to create a big set. There's a lot more work, a lot more logistics.
Heaps more.
Yeah, when you can just build up, or even in some cases you don't have to build it. All these visual effects companies they'll have a library of different buildings, different objects, different everything, which they can go to at any time. If they need a New York City, they've already got a New York City saved on their computers. They can just, on their servers, it's just a matter
Sounds lazy to me.
Yeah, grabbing that and it's in. Of course, there's still a lot of amazing work getting done by these artists.
Totally. I don't mean to discredit or,
But I think visual effects when appropriate, because we're getting further and further down that rabbit hole where we call something live action when it's not. The new Lion King is pretty much all visual effects, yet we call it live action. But it's not.
I don't like that. I started watching the Aladdin actually the other day. I'll give you my thoughts on that another time.
Okay.
Once I finish watching it.
We digress.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to the topic at hand.
So if we move on from the visual effects element of it and focus on from a story element.
Because we are talking about franchises after all, and this is what this episode's about. So Jurassic Park, the franchise.
The first one, for me, and I could just be getting all nostalgic on it, it was the perfect mix of drama, action, some, horror elements, pretty much everything you want to see in a film. But it had heart and it had a reason for it. And you believed what the people were saying and doing. You actually felt like they were trying to do a good thing and you could understand their excitement for the park. But at the same time, you still saw the concerns with it as well from the other different characters. And you knew the goals and the worries of all the actors pretty early on. You could ride the film from that point of view. When there's a lot of these films these days, they don't put so much effort into creating reasons why you want to follow these people, create these characters.
I think that's what Spielberg was a genius at, because the book is very much different to the film, the way they set up the characters and who the characters are. Just the way Spielberg the way he used to put family elements or just characters, with the family element, like, for example, Sam Neill's character, Alan Grant, not liking kids, not wanting to have kids. and Laura Dern's character who plays Ellie. I think, you know, she wants to have kids and they kind of got this relationship. And by the end of the film, he's kind of surrogate father to the kids by the end of it. And that's kind of the backbone to the film.
The film, it's really, you know, there's dinosaurs in it, but it's really a film about people more than anything. So less so about the dinosaurs.
I mean, the dinosaurs are barely in it, to be honest.
Really, that's it. If you look at the screen time the dinosaurs have, there might be, you know, those
under 20 minutes.
You got this establishing shots where they're there and they're, you know, you're watching and you're like, wow, that's amazing. But a lot of it's just them talking or it's like they're sitting in the car for the longest time, those cars, and they're just talking.
I remember that, and I remember being a kid. Like, I remember being disappointed, right, when I was a kid. In a good way though, because I remember them going to the first when as soon as they go through the doors, welcome to Jurassic Park. You know, we've seen the brontosauruses or whatever you call them, the big brachiosaurus, those things, and they go through the doors, and then the Dilophosaurus, and there's nothing there. And they're like, there's nothing there, you know, and it's like, what?
They were disappointed, we were disappointed, we were all like, oh, okay.
They knew it, they were playing with us, you know, and that's the beauty of it. And then you got to wait and wait and wait and wait until it goes nighttime, and then the storm comes, and then the T-Rex comes, and the goat legs on the fucking roof of the car, and then all hell breaks loose, and it's just like, oh shit.
And it's the setup of the scenes too, like the witty just setup, and that's old Spielberg was great at just those witty things. Like as you said, just the goat was there, and then
the night vision goggles, you know, and it's like, where's the goat? It's not there anymore.
And that fat guy when he was, I can't remember his name,
Dennis Nedry. Yeah.
But how he, you know, ended up getting eaten by that lizard thing, whatever it was.
The Dilophosaurus.
You've got this, mate.
Yeah,
you know their names.
Yeah, because I love that whole scene of him, Dennis Nedry, you know, in the control room, you know, with Samuel Jackson and Richard Attenborough, and Richard Attenborough is like, you know, giving him a bit of, you know, they got this banter going on, and Wayne Knight, who's Dennis Nedry, he's got, you know, his desk is just fucking covered in shit, you know, and he sets off the timer, and then goes off to do that sneaky shit where he's stealing all the dinosaur DNA in that little can. And then he's rushing off trying to, you know, drive down and get down to the docks to get, you know, to get off the island. And then he goes the wrong way, knocks the sign, and then he fucking goes down. And then, you know, it's got a bit of humour there as well. He slips over.
It's very funny.
So this is the good thing about the film, because like you were saying, it's got the horror. It's got a bit of humour in it. It's got adventure. It's got, you know, and it's layers. Layers upon layers. And just... you know, I know some people might find it a bit jarring in areas, but I reckon it's a perfect blend of all filmmaking. Like, it really is just a pot of filmmaking.
And they didn't forget that it's a film for people to watch. It's not all about just people with superpowers doing shit or dinosaurs destroying a place. It is it's a film about real life issues that we can relate to as humans, as people. We can relate to the issues that they go through. Yes, it was exaggerated and it was like a fantasy storyline, but just the essence of what those people went through, we can understand it.
And all the characters have almost like different viewpoints. Like you got Ian Malcolm by Jeff Goldblum. He's got this very chaos theory thing going on where he's talking about, is it right to create species from the past and dredge them back up, you know, and mix with human beings, and you know this clashing of nature.
It makes you think, and there's less black and white, and there's more grey.
And then you got the lawyer
points,
who's wanting to profit, you know, and he's like, all he can see is dollar signs in his eyes, and he's just like, yes, this is going to sell, you know, we're going to make fortunes off this place, as he says. And then you got Richard Attenborough, who's just like this, one of those billionaire crazy people.
Yeah, but he's lovable. He's very lovable.
That's the thing, because in the book he's not, but in the movie he is so lovable. And that's the genius of Spielberg again, because it's almost like a lovable villain, you know, where he doesn't even realise he's the villain. You know, because he's killing people with this concept and idea that he's so passionate about, but he just can't get it through his head that it's maybe not such a good idea.
And that's coming back to what I'm saying. That's the reason. It's no one necessarily good and no one necessarily bad. There's all these films, it's good versus bad, but this is just people.
Isn't that the bad thing about the new one? When you think about the two later Jurassic Worlds, there's clearly good guys and bad guys, because you got It even happened in Lost World. We're going through the franchise here.
Yeah.
So we could talk about the first one for about 3 hours. We could, and the rest, less so. But the first one, there's no clear goodies or baddies, apart from the Dennis Nedry character, who's ultimately not a baddie. He's just wanting to profit off this thing.
This is just capitalism. That's,
we
all want to make money. So.
Yeah, it makes sense.
But, make money but do good at the same time.
Yeah. I mean, they're taking advantage of animal DNA. They're not doing a right thing. So, it's almost like a dog-eat-dog thing, going on. It's human nature.
And then moving on to Lost World, it does fall into a lot of Hollywood stereotypes from that point on.
Yeah, and this is the thing about this book. I don't want to go into Michael Crichton's books, because we're talking about the films. But once again, the concept for the film is very from the bygone era of the old Lost World. The one that came out, in the black and white days. The Ray Harryhausen sort of stuff, where it's like they go to this lost world, and you got claymation stuff, and I love that. Like King Kong, it's like the original King Kong. It's that concept of coming across a place that's been thriving without even human knowledge of it, without human beings having any involvement with that pocket on Earth that no one's ever seen. And I love that idea, but the way they went about the film, it felt rushed.
Yeah.
I loved it when it came out, but obviously it doesn't stand up over time. I loved it because Jeff Goldblum was in it.
Yeah.
And I was like, shit, yeah. I would have liked Sam Neill, but when I think Ian Malcolm's, if not a more interesting character. I mean, there's not much more you can do with Alan Grant's character. I mean, you can do more, but I felt like, I understood why they did that. But the rest of the film's pretty crap.
Yeah, for the most part, it's walking around the place, and it does look very beautiful.
It does. They're on location.
So there's a lot of nothing happening for the
once again, which is okay. Like in Lost World, they start off with that little girl on the island that gets attacked by those little Gallimimuses.
Yeah.
And then it just hard cuts to Ian Malcolm, and then he learns about the mission that he's got to do from Richard Attenborough, who's like, you got to go to this other island.
Yeah.
That has
happened to be there.
Oh, whoops, forgot about that one.
Yeah.
And it's like, what? How does this even happen? But anyway, whatever, I'm going with it. And then they've got InGen, the company, and the company man that's taking over Richard Attenborough. I think it's his relative, Richard Attenborough's nephew, in the character's nephew. So he's taking over, and he's like, all right, we're going to take all the dinosaurs and bring them back to the States and create a new
Because
park.
that's a great idea, isn't
It's a
it?
brilliant idea, because the first one worked so well, stupid.
Yeah.
It's just dumb. And
yeah. Then they actually get the dinosaur into the mainland. The T-Rex is there destroying the mainland.
It becomes so silly. Like, I know that when he wanted to do the King Kong thing, where King Kong comes back to New York and all this, like Godzilla,
it did feel like formulaic,
pulpy
even though it's not something we've seen necessarily in dinosaurs, but it's still very formulaic. It's just a creature that doesn't belong getting thrown into that location.
And it just felt very by the numbers and not very. It didn't feel inspired.
And it was telling us who we have to hate.
Yeah. You got the clear goodies and you got the baddies.
Yeah.
There's some good stuff in that film, like the locations.
Looks
and
amazing.
Some of the casting is great.
That whole scene with the cliff.
Yeah, that's good. And I like that with the two T-Rexes come out and then they maul, I've forgotten his name now, but he gets ripped in half and all that sort of thing. And I like that's a very Spielberg moment when he's trying to get the rope and he's tying it around the tree and the truck's slipping off the cliff and he's falling over and finally starts getting it back up again. And then I love that part when the two T-Rexes just come out the tree lines and the music just kicks in. And it's just like crescendoing, And it's
in terms of direction, it was very well done.
Yeah. That's the standout moment in the film. Yeah. Like, I remember even on the trailers before the film came out and they showed you that scene of Ian Malcolm in the truck and he's like, Mum is very angry. And then you see like the car just go, past the truck, toppling over, and it's just like, fuck, what's happening here? Then you see the film and I'm like, okay, that's a really cool scene, but the rest of it just didn't live up to my imagination.
There's parts of gold.
Parts of gold, little nuggets in there, but overall it's very lackluster, and it feels almost like it's a second unit directing gig, like It feels like that part Spielberg directed and a few other parts he directed, but for the most part, it feels like it was covered by second unit.
Yeah.
That's my feeling.
It also felt like they were trying to be flashy a lot more in this one. Like, oh, we've got this now. Let's start showing all these wow factors, all these different dinosaurs at you.
Well, I guess it's more toys too, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's probably like company mandate. You must have in excess of 20 different species of dinosaurs that we can market, and vehicles, and then so on and so on.
Spielberg is very good at making you think you see something more than you do. And the first Jurassic Park was one of those where it felt like you're seeing a lot of Jurassic Park. Same with Jaws. You think you see the shark all the time when you don't.
Yeah.
It's like 2 shots.
Yeah. It's amazing.
And then...
Even E.T.'s a bit like that. You know? Close Encounters, you know. All his movies that were sort of like that are like... barely show you anything. So focused on the human element, and then that's just like these little sprinkle nuggets.
Yeah.
And then as soon as he steps beyond the Lost World territory, it's just game over.
Yeah. Now we should move away from Spielberg onto the third one.
Joe Johnston. Oh, I'm not a fan of this director.
This film really felt like an excuse to make a film. It shouldn't have existed.
Nah.
It doesn't do anything.
It didn't do anything. I think
One person with too much money wanting to try and find...
it did do something, though. It killed Jurassic Park.
It did.
For 10 years or so. That's what it did. So maybe that's what they wanted. They were like, oh, no, we've got to kill this franchise so we can bring it back in another decade.
We need an excuse to bring back Sam Neill.
And this is what surprises me, because it's like they don't bring him back for the second one, and then they come up with some shit-ass script for the third one, and he goes, yeah, I'll do that one.
Throw the blonde chick in there again.
Laura
whatever.
Dern. Yeah. And she's only in it for like fucking 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Not even that.
We need you a day of shooting with you, please. Yeah, no worries.
Okay, he's fucking 50 grand, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever.
But yeah, I hate this movie.
It was a bit of a fail.
Like, I was seeing all 3 of them in the cinema. I remember the first one. I was only probably 5 years old, I think. Never forget it. Second one, there was such anticipation and all that.
Yeah.
It was more the anticipation I don't forget. The film, seeing it at the cinema, I forget. The third one, I want to forget.
Yeah.
You know?
There wasn't any witty directing like the
No.
first ones. There wasn't any memorable
setups.
It was very expected.
It's so... And the acting's cheesy. The
Yeah.
directing's cheesy.
Very cheesy,
I've always
yeah.
found that director is a hack. I'm sorry, but Joe Johnston's a hack.
Sorry, mate.
Oh, he's done some alright stuff here and there, alright? Like, he did Arachnophobia.
Yeah.
He did Congo, Rocketeer. You know, he designed Boba Fett in the Star Wars universe. So he's got that art background. But he's not a good director. Like, I find all his films a bit... Like Congo. I don't know, did you see Congo? About the apes?
Yeah.
Yeah. Funny. He does funny movies, basically. And unfortunately, he did Jurassic Park 3, and it's just like... You don't have the skills to be able to...
He doesn't
follow
have a
Spielberg.
signature. There's no signature in his directing.
Nah.
It's just...
By the numbers.
It is what it is. It's To be a memorable director, you need to have that
stamp.
You need to have that stamp. Every director you can think of who is memorable, you know, there's a reason why they're memorable, and in their own way. But unfortunately, there's all these directors.
Company men.
Yeah, there's these people. They can do a lot of different genres, but there's nothing memorable about their.
They're almost cheap company men, aren't they? 'Cause it's like, we don't have the budget for
director for hire.
Yeah. And he'll do what we tell him.
Yeah. What are you doing at the moment? Oh, not much. All right, come and direct this for us. Sit on set.
And I know that they weren't even filming with a finished script. Once again, it's one of those where I think he threw out the script. And he didn't like the script going into it. So it was like they're filming without a script or a complete script.
Yeah, Gladiator did that, but I mean they had a good director at the helm.
Yeah, that's right. I mean, there's differences in that. I mean, I understand that. You know, a director that knows what he's doing and has that stamp.
Yeah. And has that vision.
And a vision.
Gotta have that
the vision. And Ridley Scott is one of the visionaries. Yeah. And Joe Johnston's clearly not.
We'll get back to Ridley Scott later on.
Yeah. We'll come back to him. I could talk about him for days.
But I guess that's enough about the originals. That was pretty much...
That was dead. I didn't think there was going to be another Jurassic Park.
No.
Like, I thought that was it.
And then fast forward a couple of years ago...
Yeah, I mean, how much longer was it? Like, Jurassic Park 3 was like year 2000, 2001.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, around then. And Jurassic World would have been what, 2013, 14?
2015.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's almost a decade and a half in hibernation. Who
So
would
that's
have
a while,
thought?
yeah.
And dredging up a franchise like Jurassic Park again.
Well, this is right in that period where Hollywood got onto that idea, let's just run off nostalgia and bring up all of our past franchises. That's right when it started really taking off.
And going nuts. Like I was saying to you, I would have, like in one of our previous episodes, I would have more preferred to have seen different films with dinosaurs in them. Different ideas, not Jurassic Park. Something different.
Create something new, yeah.
Something new. And like Peter Jackson's King Kong, which is, not the greatest film either, but at least, I know it's in a franchise, but seeing dinosaurs done in a different way in something else that's not Jurassic Park
because
was pretty cool.
Think about what other films have dinosaurs in
I know. It's like,
apart from children films, there's not much.
It's like Jurassic Park or none.
Yeah.
I can't even think off the top of my head unless it's like Dinotopia or something, like TV movies.
TV.
Yeah. Let's not talk about that. But yeah, I mean, the new ones. I mean, should we even talk about these ones? I just feel like snubbing them and be like, no, fuck off. Well, all right. I was just thinking we're going to do trilogies, right? We're going to go on this tangent of saying the third ones are always bad. Right? For the most part, they are. But now we're getting into that territory where it's like reboots and and tacking on extra sequels. So we got number 4 and 5.
My issues with the new reboot of the series is that they're all becoming unforgettable. It loses what made that film great in the first place.
The heart.
There's
no beating heart, is there? It's got a lot of fake heart. Like they're faking it. It's like they go, that Spielberg kind of tone, but it hasn't got the backbone behind it.
Well, none of the characters have really been fleshed out enough.
Yeah, I mean, you got
it's all surface.
Chris Pratt's character.
Yeah.
Can you tell me about that character? Well, he can talk to dinosaurs.
He drinks and he's a loner.
and he wants to get with Ron Howard's daughter. Yeah. I think that's it.
Unfortunately, all disaster films are sort of getting that same treatment to it. You got 2012, which in terms of action wasn't bad. But in terms of character development, there wasn't any.
Shocking.
There's nothing there.
Roland Emmerich at his best. I mean, you could interchange, let's just say, for example, you can interchange the Chris Pratt character with The Rock. Yeah. You could interchange him with Vin Diesel or Mark Wahlberg or any action star of the week and go... or whatever, and go, okay, that's how hollow these characters are. There's no identity to them. It's like, okay, he's handsome. All right, Chris Pratt, quickly go to the gym for 6 months, bulk up a bit. Yeah. Because, you can't be fat and, you can't be a bit schlubby. We can't have any schlubby characters anymore because,
Can't have a bit of a gut.
Doesn't look good.
No.
Doesn't look good. You're going to have a six-pack.
All the women want to see your sexy body.
And it's not reflecting... real life.
No, not at all.
It's almost like reflecting Instagram.
They have to make all the people too perfect.
Yeah, and it's like reflecting those fake Instagram people. It's like that.
Don't show their flaws. They're not allowed to have flaws.
Oh, yeah, no.
Oh, well, he can drink a bit.
And he can be a bit of a womanizer.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's okay. Yeah. We'll let that go.
And then there's always the woman who sees through it and says, no, I don't like you. I'm never going to love you because you're...
And then I love you by the end.
Yeah, that's it.
And then in the sequel, what? They're together? Are they not?
Yeah, usually not.
This is the funny thing, like... In the first one, Jurassic World, right? Chris Pratt's all pro-dino and Ron Howard's daughter's all pro-business, right? Yeah. But she doesn't give a shit about the dinos that much, right? And then by the second one, she's all pro-dino and Chris Pratt's like, I don't really want to go back there. No. And, it's almost like a reversal. And it's like, I'm confused. Like I'm just like, what is going on? And then there's a volcano in the second one.
Yeah, that second one was worse than the first one. The first one I could bear. The second one I couldn't. And by the end it was just stupid. The hybrid thing, and then they tried to have comedic moments in it that were a bit weird.
It was a bizarre film.
Yeah. And then nothing, like, they made it look so huge, but that all happens in the first act. And then after that first act, they slam on the brakes, and then nothing happens for a long time, and then it finishes.
Pretty much nothing happens. Yeah. Like, the volcano goes off, which is almost something you do at the end of the film.
Yeah. The climax was at the first act.
I guess it's working on people's attention spans, because I know that kids will probably tune out after half an hour anyway. so they can just do whatever the fuck they want.
Yeah.
But I was so shocked because that director, J.A. Boner, I don't know, he did that tidal wave movie, The Impossible, with Ewan McGregor
Yep.
and Naomi Watts. And that's an incredible film. Like the use of CGI, the tidal wave, the drama, the humans element in the film is, it's a really good movie.
Yeah, very good film.
Yeah. And then he comes and does this. And I don't know if the studio is just like, sorry, we've got a really shit script, but, just do what you can.
But it doesn't have any of the feel that other, The Impossible had.
No, which it
his
could
whole-
have.
His whole directing.
It's like, why
wasn't there.
do they even get these guys?
Mm.
It's like, oh yeah, we're gonna get you because we like what you did with that, but we're not gonna give you any.
You can do what we say.
Yeah, don't.
And advertise this car while you're doing it at the same time. Make sure make sure he's holding a
Yeah.
V. Whatever it might be. Coca-Cola drink.
Skittles.
Just stop for a second, eat some Skittles. Then get them back with you.
It's just so bad. Like, you got the bad guy character in the Fallen Kingdom, and he's like, and they're selling dinosaurs at a fucking auction, and they're going for like $1 million. I was gobsmacked. I was like, are you fucking kidding me? You're selling a dinosaur for $1 million? People buy cars and houses for more than that.
Yep.
And you're talking about a fucking dinosaur. Something you can't put a price on.
That's when I lost full interest in that franchise,
Yeah.
the reboot. It's just stupid. It's just beyond a joke to try and create, we're going to auction them. We've tried the past few decades to try and
Weaponize them.
monetize and weaponize and everything, these dinosaurs, and then we're going to just have
I hate the ideas with them. I hate that any of those ideas, like even in the first Jurassic World, when they're like, we're going to send them into Iraq or Afghanistan, the raptors, and it's like, can't you just drop a bomb on those fuckers?
Yeah.
Like, why would you even send in raptors?
What is the benefit? You got drones.
Yeah.
Mate.
Yeah, I know.
You don't need the fucking
It's
thing.
the dumbest thing I've ever...
How are you going to control the thing? You're going to tell it, no, don't tell him eat the other one. Yeah, okay. He'll listen.
Oh,
right on the back of the bloody dinosaurs.
It's so stupid. Made for 6-year-old boys, And even them, they don't give a shit. Like, why are you trying to sell these ideas to us, like to kids or anyone? They're stupid. But there was a concept in between, before Jurassic World came out. I know there was these scripts because I was trying to get another Jurassic Park made. And I remember through that decade-long period of, are they going to do a new Jurassic Park? What's going on? Yeah. And I was looking into it, and I remember they had ideas of having human hybrid dinosaurs. So like mutated dinosaurs with humans, and they were like all fucking zombie freaky and shit. And I think that would have been a better direction to go on, because that's playing on the horror element. It's taking it somewhere new. It's doing something different and freaky. And because dinosaurs aren't scary anymore, really.
No.
I mean, if you are a kid, I'm sure they are. But
it's not really. It was directed at us. It wasn't directed at kids.
Yeah. And then when you think about what they did in the newer one, Fallen Kingdom, they've come back to that idea again about tampering with DNA, and they got that stupid clone kid and the hybrid dinosaur. So why don't they combine that clone kid with the hybrid dinosaur and make some freaky ass fucking abomination?
And so the main question now is where do you think they're going to go from here? What now?
Well, do you remember the end of that film?
Yeah, the dinosaur.
The heroes of the film.
The raptor says goodbye. Thanks for your work. He had
See
his
ya.
little human moment.
Cheerio.
Have a good life.
Yeah.
And then he's running off in the
You're
free.
You're free.
So what's going to happen now? It's going to be apocalyptic.
It's like Lassie or something when they're like, go Lassie, go. And I couldn't believe it, because it's like, hang on, the heroes of the film are actually letting all these dinosaurs go free into the world. So all these, the rest of the world's going to suffer because you guys don't want to keep them caged up.
Which is weird, because they were at the beginning of the film saying, no, just let them die. And shit, we can't let these few die. These few have to live.
I'm going to go on record and say I'm going to give that film a dog. I'm not even
not a puppy. It's
not a cute puppy. I'm going to give it an old decrepit piece of shit. Like, I don't know.
Dog shit. They can have the shit out of the dog.
Yeah, that's a disservice to dogs.
It is. They can have the shit that comes out of the dogs.
Yeah.
And then been stepped through on the bloody
on the carpet.
On the carpet.
That's what it is. It's amazing, because like, I went and saw it on the cinema, and I saw it with my partner, and she was kind of getting into it at bits, you know. And I know she gets into this sort of stuff a lot more easy than I do, but I'm happy to sort of be there for the experience.
Yeah.
But that one was like really stretching me, and I
Did you
was
see
like,
when you saw it? Did you see it early on when it first came?
yeah. I saw it within the first week
Because I remember.
or the second week.
I think I saw it first day, but I was there like 2 hours early because I was going with a group of friends and we were in the area. So we were able to get straight in. And we went to a place that didn't have allocated seating, so that was easy.
Yeah.
But then the following week, I wanted to go see another film and we went to the drive-ins. I couldn't get in the drive-ins because the queue for Jurassic World just went on all the way down the street. I couldn't get it, so we gave up.
Yeah, right.
We gave up in the end.
That's what happened to me for another film. I went to the drive-in and we were like, oh, shit. Let's turn around and come back tomorrow.
If you've ever gone to a drive-in,
Get there
get in there early.
an hour early, at least.
Especially
Especially when
if
you
it's a
got,
new one.
especially you got these Marvel ones and
Yeah.
these franchise films that all the families go to. But yeah, I mean, Jurassic World, fuck me. Talk about killing a franchise again
Yeah. Yep.
on the second film, like what they did in the first run. Like, it's almost like a repeat. And it's like, don't you ever fucking learn.
No.
And the guy that wrote the scripts for these, Colin Trevorrow, I fucking hate him. He's a hack as well.
They could have. I mean, the first one it was what it was, very formulaic and stuff. But at least they could have gone somewhere with it.
They did The Force Awakens with it. You know, what JJ did with Force Awakens,
Yeah.
you know, to A New Hope. It was basically just like a rebooted, you know, rejig of the first one.
Yeah, let's remake the first one, but not
On steroids. And then...
make things bigger.
yeah.
Which is pretty much identical to the first one. But,
Yeah, let's piss on the first one and, you know...
but we can have big
abuse it.
whale dinosaurs instead.
Oh, yeah, the big crocodile thing. Which
Whatever
I thought that was pretty cool in the first one. But you wouldn't have that in a fucking attraction like that, would
way.
you?
No.
That's definitely OHS. OHS would have a field day at that fucking place, especially after the incidents of the first one.
I don't know why there wasn't any more, buddy, when we put whales and stuff into...
God, yeah. That would actually be an interesting concept.
They should have. Imagine they should have worked that in. You've got
Yeah.
to have all these people crowded out on the beach and they're all protesting, like the opening of it. Add that human
That would
element
have been
back into
sick.
it, and maybe play with that a bit more.
That would have been perfect. There's another film with Jesse Eisenberg about, it's like a real life story about a group of young people that go, like, not terrorizing, but they go to, you know, they go in and sort of do guerrilla stuff,
Yeah.
you know, and that would have been a perfect concept for this because you could have had the company men trying to create this new wildlife park, this new Jurassic Park, and you could have had this little team that comes in and sabotages it or whatever.
Yeah, and maybe follow their story.
That would have
and
been
what they do. Maybe they can do some shady stuff as well.
absolutely.
And we can believe in their shady stuff because we understand where they're coming from. And again, that's bringing in that human element where there is not necessarily good or necessarily bad.
It's just human.
Yeah.
And then you've got in the second one again at the start, you got InGen coming back and they're trying to get the bone or something off the. They're trying to get a bone off the hybrid, not the hybrid dinosaur.
The whale thing.
Yeah, no, because the whale thing ate the invisible dinosaur at the end of the first one. They want to get the bone off that one at the bottom of the ocean.
Because that's a good idea.
It's all sounding very sound and plausible. I don't understand. And then they make the hybrid dinosaur from that, from that bone.
Yeah.
Right.
So quickly, it just grew.
So how, what? Why didn't
suddenly
they?
this big giant dinosaur.
How do they make the invisible one then? So why do they need a bone to make a new one when they've got research from the old one?
It's not what the servers don't exist now. You got to start again from scratch. Like, what?
Oh, I hate this movie.
I guess we're pointing out all the flaws, and we're not meant to do that these days with films.
And I hate. All right. Any positives from the newer ones? Is there anything you can say is positive? Because I'll just keep ranting negatives.
Yeah. All right, let's look at positives, okay? So when I first saw the trailer, I was so excited.
Yeah.
Because childhood reimagined.
Nostalgia. They know how to
And
appease
that's the
that.
thing, and that's... We can bag on about it, but we keep going to see these films because of nostalgia. And we still get that nostalgia hit at stages. And unfortunately, we just keep on...
It's like a drug.
I know I do it all the time. I go and see these new films, And I do get those moments where I'm like, oh, them's the days.
Yeah, I remember those
This
days.
was meant to be positive, but it's sounding not very positive. But yeah, I guess the nostalgia hit is positive.
When you hear the score, and you go, ah. And then Chris Pratt comes on the screen and you go, ah, shit, it's fucking Star-Lord.
Yeah.
How many more movies can you get in at the same time? Like, I hate that. It's like, I've just seen you as Star-Lord. Oh, I'm sorry, I'm getting negative again.
Yeah.
I like Chris Pratt.
I just see him and I'm like, well, you used to be fat.
I know, and I preferred you when you were fat. I liked you
fat
in
again.
Parks and Recreation. That's when you were good, man.
Yeah.
You know, when you were a fucking loser. You know.
I want to see losers in this again.
Yeah, I would have liked him to be schlubby, like in Parks and Recreation, a fucking loser.
At least we can relate.
Yeah, and I would have been like, sweet. Now he's some gym junkie guy that's ripped 24/7.
All right, let's try and look at this film. Something that we've never done before, but let's try and look at this point of view from a
kid's perspective or something.
Kid's perspective. It has your action.
Yeah.
It's got
character. No character development. If you got a short attention span, you know, and you think the first one's boring, which I know I will hear that a lot these days. A lot of kids or a lot of people, not even kids, people turn around and go, first one's boring. You know, nothing happens.
Yeah. If you like these action films and you like to see lots of things get destroyed, this is the film for you.
If you like Fast and the Furious and things like that, I'm sure you'd probably...
Stuff that doesn't really have much depth to it, but you like to see all the big explosions and stuff.
Yeah,
This is for
muscles you. And...
Come and watch it. Enjoy it.
Well, you know, good on you. I'm glad someone enjoys it, because I don't.
You're listening to the wrong podcast for that. 'Cause we don't.
And I will never be doing a podcast on Fast and the Furious, so fuck off. No, I'm joking. Maybe we could. As a laugh.
It'll be funny.
And
But
get
I'm
heaps of
not
hate.
going to see the new one for it.
Oh, Hobbs and Shaw.
Fuck off.
Oh, God. If I want to watch... It's like the most homoerotic movies I've ever seen, I reckon. It's almost like... And not there's anything wrong with that, but I'm just saying that they're very homoerotic.
There is that sort of sexual tension between the two.
There is, isn't it? It's weird.
It's like, let's try and be funny and yell at each other. In the same way that married couples do that.
Ugh. I'd almost prefer to watch a Fast and Furious movie. You remember that 90s film Grumpy Old Men?
Yep.
With Walter Matthau and Jack Lemmon. I'd like to see Fast and Furious with like two old men like that. Yeah. You could have like Michael Caine and, you know, some other old actor. Geriatric Furious.
Yeah. And then you got the one that fucking goes granny speed.
Yeah.
Driving around. Keep up! I'm going!
I'm fucking going,
Don't rush
right?
me!
Yeah. I'm driving in the parking lot.
Can't see. Can't see with my old eyes.
Anyway.
First,
right, I'll see if I can come up with any positives before we move on. Some of the effects, alright, here and there are good. Okay? Yep. Here and there.
There were some really nice action scenes in it.
I like the bit when the chick gets fucked up by the pterodactyl things. They come and pick her up, and then they're like, and then they dump her in the fucking water, and then I was like, whoa, kids are watching this. You know, I was like, shit, I didn't expect that.
I did get a lot of gratification out of the big whale dinosaur eating the bad one.
Oh, yeah, at the end.
At the end.
Yeah. That was like, I know it's coming. Yeah,
and
then it
like
happened.
He's at the water.
Yeah. They're right there. It's perfect setup.
Yep, here we go. But it was great to see.
Yeah, it was like, it's kind of like, it was like the first one with the T-Rex coming in out of nowhere, you know.
Yeah.
Which is stupid in the first one. But you just take it, you know, because the whole first movie, you're so accustomed to hearing the T-Rex its footsteps before it even gets there. But at the end, he just ninjas in out of nowhere and saves the day.
Yeah,
you know,
which is you're right. It is pretty much a remake of the first one.
Yeah,
every single all the story elements are there. Where it's
Invisible Dinosaur. Any thoughts on that?
Like they lost me on that.
Yeah. There's only one part. I think the first part when they're in the when Chris Pratt, they bring him in. And they're like, "We need you to check out this dinosaur," and then they're looking in the pen and like, "Where is it?"
Yeah.
And then it's like that whole thing. But it's stupid. It is stupid. But I had like a couple moments. I was like, this could be creepy if it was done better.
But it felt like that whole scene where they're talking about the visitors want to see bigger and better. That's almost like the exact same Hollywood meeting when they were thinking about
the meta. Yeah.
We need a creature, bigger and better film. We need a bigger and better film. So let's do this.
I hated that whole idea of being meta. Like they're like, oh yeah, that's really smart because, you know, it's reflecting on how people actually will think about it. And it's like, Well, just give me the T-Rex again. Give me just the
Yeah.
standard
But
dinosaurs.
just how many dinosaurs have we not seen
I
before?
know.
There's so many dinosaurs that existed way back when,
Oh,
and we've only seen 10 maybe.
and
I
then
don't
they're
know.
starting to create new ones.
Yeah.
Stupid.
Let's make a time machine film where we go back in time and then go to the dinosaurs, make a film about being in the fucking prehistoric, and maybe do the whole butterfly thing. You go there,
Butterfly effect, yeah.
where you
Hey.
survive there, you come back home right at the end, and everything's fucked.
There's actually a really good comic series. Hey, I read comics sometimes. I'm a geek, and you can hate me for it. But there's this one series I was reading, or I'm still reading, called Paper Girls. And it's a great fucking comic book. And I know they're making a TV show out of it. I heard they've given it the green light. And when I was reading it, I'm like, man, this is perfect for a TV show. Because it's got time travel.
Yeah.
But it starts off in the 80s and it's like Stranger Things, kids on bikes. And then it's like all like neighborhood stuff. What's going on next door? There's all this weird shit going on. Down the track in the story, they end up going back in the past to prehistoric times. And then there's all this wacko shit going on. It's got stuff from the future. It's got stuff from the past. And it's got... Yeah, that could be cool.
I do like a good old time machine film. We don't get enough of them.
No, we don't. Hot Tub Time Machine?
Yeah.
And it's hard to see him doing another one.
Yeah, no.
Because they finish it up with the dinosaurs in the real world. And you got that big whale crocodile one just in the surf beach, you know, just coming in on the waves on the surf beach and all this sort of thing. And you're thinking, how are you going to make a movie on a world scale? Is it just going to be America that's affected by dinosaurs, or that's all we're going to see?
Yep.
I don't know, sounds shit.
And then how long is that going to take? Are we going to fast forward 20 years?
Yeah. That's the only way you could do it. They're going to be like, that stuff's already happened.
Yeah.
They've been out in the wild, we've captured them, we've killed them.
Because
and now we've reined them back in again.
we can't kill the 12 dinosaurs that we've put on the planet.
Drop a couple missiles on that fucking whale one. Nah, don't do that. We'll capture it. We'll domesticate it.
Aquarium 2.0.
Deep Blue Sea. 3.
I guess that's probably it for today.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up.
Make sure you jump onto our YouTube, check out our videos,
Like and subscribe and all that good stuff.
do all that jazz,
Yeah.
and all that jazz.
That would be good.
Other than that, we'll see you in the next one.
Adios.